Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever you are, whenever you are. Welcome to a new Breakout Solutions live stream. It's the end of the week. Hope you've had a fantastic week. Bitcoin being a little bit boring since being rejected from $30,000. So now the question is, do we continue the push to the upside or do we collapse 20 to 40% over the next few months? So without further ado, yeah, that's all right. Let's jump into today's news. But before I do, guys, we have a one-day workshop happening this Sunday, 9 to 5 Australian Eastern Standard Time on Sunday. It's an opportunity for you guys that are watching the stream that maybe are beginners. You'd like to make your first crypto investment as well as implement your first digital passive income strategy utilizing cryptocurrency. Please go to breakoutnow.co/workshop. Register for the event. It's only $97 Australian, and you're going to find it absolutely amazing. You're going to learn a lot. You can actually implement stuff because you're going to be having your hand held through the entire session by Michael and Wasim, so we can get you invested into the market so you don't miss out on the next and upcoming bull market. All right, without further ado, let's dive into the first news article of today. So Fed starts new program to oversee crypto activity in US banks. So the Federal Reserve has launched the new program to clarifying its requirements for pre-approvals before engaging in digital asset operations. So the Novel Activities Supervision Program will place crypto dealings under the Fed's specialized experts' oversight, focusing on safe and secure practices and addressing risks such as money laundering and cyber security. So this move reinforces the Fed's crypto guidance from January and aims to strike a balance between innovation and regulation in the financial services sector. So yes, I do agree that we do need some form of regulation and we do need some form of government, insight, because without that, it's never going to end up being mainstream. As much as we'd like it to be, if governments don't play ball with us and we don't play ball with governments, they're just going to shut the whole the crypto ecosystem down. And not like they can't actually shut it down, or they can't shut down Bitcoin, of course, because it's decentralized and no one knows the creator and there's miners all over the world. But they can go after companies. They've gone after XRP. They recently named a fair few other tokens like Cardano, Solana, Matic as being security. So these are certain things that we need to sort of clear up the space rather than there being a gray area. We need to make it black and white so companies know how to navigate this ecosystem, because it's still quite new. It's only 15 years old, right? Comparison to other assets, the stock market, bonds, commodities, shares, it's only 15 years old. So there's going to be some hiccups along the way, but as long as companies can work with regulators, I'm sure it's going to push the entire system in the right direction. Unfortunately, sometimes the governments don't have our best interest at heart, so they're going to try and really make things difficult for us, jump through a lot of hoops. But this will all probably end as soon as BlackRock's ETF gets approved. Now, if that does get approved, we're going to see an influx of money coming into the ecosystem that you've never seen before. And even though we had a pretty good bull market last year, if we get this ETF before the next bull market, we could even get north of very high mid six figures. So probably I'm being conservative, saying 100K is where we're going to hit the next top. But with this influx from these potential ETFs, we could see it go much further. All right, moving on. We've got the July CPI report shows inflation gauge rose to 3.2%, which is less than expected. So US inflation eases slightly as consumer price index rises 3.2 annually in July, aligning with the Dow Jones estimates, while core CPI increases by 0.2%, making a 12-month rate of 4.7%, the lowest since October 2021. So the report, which highlighted moderation in inflation and stronger real wages, leads to a positive market reaction, with Dow Jones futures up over 200 points and Treasury yields mostly lower. So despite the easing in Federal Reserve, is expected to maintain its cautious approach as inflation remains above the central bank's target level. So if you've been keeping an eye on CPI and the interest rates, obviously a lot of people are forecasting probably most likely one more rate hike, even though we had a bit of a pause last month. We also had the Australian interest rates being paused. So we've obviously done its job. Lifting the interest rates, more people have obviously are spending less, borrowing less, putting less pressure on the financial ecosystem. So therefore, the inflation numbers have dropped. We will see a recovery, obviously, as interest rates do drop. That's where more money is going to probably start flooding the markets, because people have that spare extra cash that they sort of want to play around with. But look, we've seen a fantastic growth in the S&P this year. Bitcoin as well doubling. So I feel like I'm not too sure if price has been factored with the potential of the interest rates now going lower, but that's something we'll just have to wait and see. All I know is we're still very early in this bull market. Well, we're still technically in a bear market, but I do expect a secondary push to the downside in the coming months. But after that, we've got the halving coming up, which is always the catalyst for the next bull run. So I'm really excited. The next few months are going to be really good. Now's the time to start collecting some of your favorite altcoins that are going to outperform Bitcoin. Don't go gambling on anything you don't know. Don't listen to friends and family. Maybe find yourself a mentor or someone that's been in the space that's done it before you. Next, we got Russia to begin its CBDC trials with 13 banks. So they're starting the pilot trials for its central bank digital currency project involving digital rubles starting on the August 15th. So 13 banks and a limited group of their clients will participate in the initial testing phase, focusing on refining essential processes such as digital ruble transactions, automated payments, and QR code usage for purchases and services. So the pilot program aims to assess the functionality of the digital ruble platform, collaborate with clients, make necessary adjustments, and ensure user-friendly experience, with plans to enable widespread use of digital rubles by citizens and businesses starting in 2025. So if you're probably bored to death with the information that Wasim has been pumping to you guys every live streams on Tuesdays and Fridays. We've been talking about CBDCs. We've been talking about the BRICS nation looking to take over the US dollar as the world reserve currency. These guys are pushing forward. We're getting more and more countries applying to be part of the BRICS. I think Wasim said the other day there were 14 new countries that applied for the BRICS. So I think the US dollar is on the brink of being de-dollarized, and therefore the world's superpowers are going to be changing hands from the Western world to possibly the eastern parts of Europe and Asia. Alrighty, moving on. Let's check out some of the movements today. Let's go to the day. There we go. We can see Phantom's doing quite well, guys. Phantom is pretty much at its all-time lows. Not financial advice, but I got myself a bag of Phantom today. We've got Thorchain, aka Rune, that's done pretty well. OP made a bit of a recovery after a pullback. Casper finally pulling back. This thing has been an absolute tear from the start of the year. If you haven't checked it out, check out its price chart. Absolutely amazing. Definitely some people made some really good money in that. And we can see that everything else is just kind of teeter-tottering as Bitcoin has a slow pullback. Next, we've got Bitcoin, been hovering around. As long as it stays above this sort of $29,500 area, that's going to be great, and we can push to the upside. But if we struggle to maintain this over the weekend, come Monday morning, we're probably going to get a flush to the downside. 29,500 is definitely a critical area. We need to hold strong. So, guys, if you're watching this, make sure you pray. We've got a comment here. Thanks, Wasim. Thanks for joining us. Let's check out the Fear and Greed Index, currently a neutral at 51. Okay, so not much is happening. Let's have a look at the last 3 months. If it allows me, let's go 1 month because that graph's a bit boring. It seems like it's gone a bit sideways. I don't think this one's working, but that's okay. We can see that basically yesterday was 53, last week 51. Everyone's just been sort of hovering. Everyone knows that this zone is the make or break it. So don't be afraid that if Bitcoin does drop, think of it as opportunity. If we pump to the upside, fantastic. Don't forget to take your profits. All right, moving on to Twitter highlights, or now X highlights. We'll call it the X highlights. And by the way, I've been forgetting my banners. This is the first time I've done this in a while, so I should get my little banners up. Where's my little banners? There we go, Twitter highlights. Forgot my little Twitter highlights banner. We got Lark Davis. So the SEC is appealing the judge's ruling on the Ripple case. The SEC is determined to try and kill crypto industry. Surprising, XRP prices barely moved. Market gives no Fs anymore. So totally agree. The XRP has had a bit of a slow pullback over hitting 95 cents. I think it's a great buying opportunity right now. The golden pocket around that sort of 60 to 65 cents mark. Not that I'm a huge fan of XRP, but I know they're working with a lot of banks. They're probably going to, banks are probably going to be using the XRP technology for transfers. So it's not the worst thing to have a bit of a bag of XRP in your wallet. Next, we've got Vigilant Fox saying JoeRoagn says, "And no effing way that the central bank digital currency that's game over." So he was talking to Post Malone. You probably can't hear it, but yeah, he had Post Malone on, and Post Malone asked him what he thought about the central bank digital currencies, and JoeRoagn said, "No way, that's checkmate. It's kind of like Big Brother just overlooking everything too much." And then they talked about if they decide somehow another way that you need some social credit score system, and it's for the benefit of society, and they outline that they can track your behavior and your tweets and all your things. They just decided you effed up, and the rules are the rules. So Wasim's been talking about this nonstop. He's talking about how the rest of society is looking to become just another China. China has complete control over the majority of their citizens with the WeChat, being able to give people social scores. We saw people locked out of their house when they didn't want to. There was I think either didn't want to isolate during some sort of COVID protocols. Anyways, basically people were sleeping on the streets because they could not get back into their house because the Chinese government was not allowing people to get back in because these people were not following their laws of China. So this is how much power a government can have if we let them implement things that we are not, that we don't want. CBDCs is just the first. It's the first, nail in the coffin, and more things will come. So guys, we've been warning you for a while, and this is why digital assets can protect you moving forward. Imagine getting your bank shut down because the government says that you've been doing nefarious activities, or you're just not been behaving, or you've been getting too many fines. How can you spend your money if your bank has been shut down, your bank account's been shut down, everything's been taken from you because the government has that much power over you? In the future, this is why digital assets is going to allow you to have peer-to-peer transactions, spend your crypto without this third party overseeing everything that you are doing. It's truly powerful stuff, and this is why we talk non-stop about cryptocurrency assets. Last tweet, Texas to offer tax exemptions to energy producers using flared and vented gas to mine Bitcoin. Fantastic. Everyone always talks about how Bitcoin is not good for the environment. It's total BS. There's plenty of great miners out there that are using renewable energy to mine Bitcoin, and it's only going to, it's just going to annoy the haters out there even more. So it's great that obviously Texas is moving forward with that. All right, over to the adoption highlights now. So we have Binance is now El Salvador's first fully licensed crypto exchange. So the world's obviously biggest cryptocurrency exchange. If you haven't checked them out, definitely go check out Binance. They are my favorite exchange between them and Bybit. So they've got their license for cryptocurrency trading platform in El Salvador, and the exchange obtained 2 licenses: the Bitcoin Services Provider License (BSP) and the Digital Asset Service Provider License (DASP) from the Central Reserve Bank and the National Commission of Digital Assets. So Binance's expansion of licenses and approvals now spans 18 global markets, reflecting its commitment to compliance and collaboration with regulatory agencies worldwide, despite facing regulatory challenges in certain jurisdictions. So we know that the BNB coin has been, under a bit of stress lately because all the attacks on Binance, the US government's trying to attack Binance, saying they didn't have X, Y, and Z licenses to be operating in the US, et cetera, et cetera. Like again, FUD, just an attack on crypto. I think that CZ is a fantastic CEO for Binance. I think he's trying to push the crypto adoption in the right direction, helping countries adopt some form of centralized exchange to help their citizens get into cryptocurrency. So I have nothing bad to say about CZ, and I think that he's done amazing to now get into El Salvador. And we all know that El Salvador being the first country to have Bitcoin as legal tender, things are just going to move forward with, I think, more people moving to El Salvador. Next, we have Microsoft partners with Aptos Labs to merge AI and blockchain. If you haven't checked out the Aptos price chart over the last few days since this release, it's obviously had a positive effect. So this collaboration aims to provide more accessibility and credibility to blockchain technology, with Aptos Assistant assisting users in navigating the Aptos blockchain ecosystem and facilitating the development of smart contracts and decentralized applications. Now, Microsoft and Aptos also plan to explore innovative solutions related to asset tokenization, payments, and central bank digital currencies, contributing to the broader adoption of Web3. So there's been lots of things going on right now. Obviously, AI over the last 12 months, I think we're coming up to close to a year from when ChatGPT was released. And ever since then, there's AI images, AI voiceovers, AI videos. It's just the next big thing, right? I think that AI is like what the iPhone was back in the early 2000s. And now that Aptos has obviously merged with Microsoft and they've got this collaboration, it's just going to push technology well into the future. And we all know that Microsoft has their own ChatGPT version called Bard. So if you haven't checked out Bard, you can check it out. It's pretty good. I'm not too sure if it's as good as ChatGPT, but what I like about Bard is when you ask for information, you can also get it tabulated into Google Sheets and all this fancy stuff. So I don't mind a bit of Bard myself. Lastly, with adoption, we've got India plans to use crypto tokens in upcoming native web browser. So Indian citizens may soon have the ability to digitally sign documents using crypto tokens as part of a national web browser initiative led by the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology. The Indian Web Browser Development Challenge aims to inspire developers across the country to create an indigenous web browser with features like inbuilt controller of certifying authorities, India Root Certificate. So the browser will prioritize accessibility and user-friendly and is intended to support individuals with diverse abilities, offering a unique feature of digitally signing documents through embedded crypto tokens. So India is probably been the second, well, it's the second largest country in regards to population, but it's been the second biggest country to continuously say no to crypto and then do some stuff in the back end to try and set up, crypto and blockchain businesses. Every time China does the same thing, but China's got a pretty hard stance on cryptocurrency. Obviously, they don't want anything infiltrating their WeChat and their Republic. But India's been the same. India has banned crypto so many times, lots of FUD, but we can see that obviously they're now pushing forward with certain technologies because India has also a big discrepancy between the rich, middle class, and the poor. And the poor live, they live in just a really bad, in a very bad culture. A lot of them probably don't have access to computers, but they probably have access to smartphones. Most countries now, even the poor, have access to smartphones. And we know that now that if you can have a smartphone, you can be connected to anyone in the world, not only by social metrics using Facebook, Instagram, and all that, but now you can actually exchange goods, services, and have peer-to-peer transactions by only having your mobile phone, because there's plenty of crypto exchanges and crypto wallets only requiring a mobile phone these days. So India looks like they're pushing forward with crypto and doing backflips on everything else that they normally talk about. Guys, that is it for today's live stream. Thank you so much. Before I let you go, just make sure you check out our upcoming workshop. It's this Sunday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. Go to breakoutnow.co/workshop. Register. The workshop is only $97 Australian. It's not too bad. And you guys can obviously, I'll just bring up the webpage one more time. Hopefully it comes up. There we are. So you head to breakoutnow.co/workshop. What's going on here? There we go. And check out what's involved. Look at what we're going to be covering on Sunday. We've got, obviously, this Sunday, you can secure your spot. And we've got another workshop in September. Okay. Once again, we're going to be helping you guys invest in your first digital assets. If you're new to crypto, this is perfect for beginners, and also help you implement your first passive income strategy using your new digital assets. If you're advanced or intermediate in experience with the crypto market, maybe you haven't dived into the DeFi world, this workshop will also be perfect for you in order to start implementing a passive income strategy with your crypto. If you're someone that's been buying and holding, this is a great opportunity for you. Start making some interest with your crypto, because there's a lot of power out there. You can do some staking, yielding, some farming, rather than let your crypto sit in a wallet and just go up in price. If the price goes up, start trying to generate some rewards and interest from that crypto if it's just sitting in a wallet. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Once again, appreciate you guys giving us your Friday afternoons to watch these live streams, and I'll catch you guys next week.